to have an uninterrupted electricity and water supply from solar energy in the Gambia and beyond? Worry no more, because Solar Enterprise will provide you with the solutions at reasonable cost. We have experienced personnel who can install and advise you about your electricity and water supply with a warranty period. We have good quality solar products from North America and Europe. We provide services and sell products to individuals, organizations, institutions, private offices, communities, and government. These products are solar panels, batteries, charge controllers, inverters, water pump, water heaters, freezers, submersible pumps, and general solar accessories. Visit our stores at 48 Caraba Avenue and Brusubi Highway, or you can call us on 7657 479 980-8483, 340-9400 or 635-9906.
Jamano Money Transfer Bureau de Change, your go-to option when it comes to money transfer. With Jamano, you can send money from anywhere in the world to your family and loved ones in the Gambia and be sure the funds will be delivered to them within the shortest time possible. For your convenience, funds sent through Jamano Money Transfer can be picked from all the banks and multiple other financial institutions, including Ajib Bank, Trust Bank, GT Bank, Mega Bank, Basic Bank, Reliance Financial Services, and Approved Services. Visit our head office at Brusubi opposite AfricMed next to Trust Bank Limited, or email us at info@jamanomt.com. You can as well call us on 310-3050 or 310-3051, or yet still 733-0688. Our opening hours are 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. Monday to Saturday and 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. on Sunday. Jamano Money Transfer, your most trusted money transfer service where customer satisfaction is paramount. When you think of a simple, fast, and reliable money transfer, think Jamano Money Transfer.
Agada. Albaka.
Mbaka important.
Yo, nga transfer la sto.
Ya transfer la sto.
Ha, code nyingi.
Okay. Nsila ID soto.
Sorry. Agada.
Bijan bro.
Albaka.
Mbaka.
Bara alla service o tariya. Mbare ki janna nun kunu bara tariya.
Jannom yona forest de bureau. Gambia tonkon na no mbari ya bere. Birim koyna fo kato.
Bari si kodo kino kato ni fo bolong blabe.
56 branches mola soto Gambia jam.
Ha?
Gambia kono ani Gambia bantala bankol. Nko kodo kiya bere. Kodo sifa fo falindiro fo nyaadi lafta memmen na kodi to poto nin kodi maraw. Jannam number 1 di nyonta. Andum fana nata anoda enterprise sotale. Wolam nyindi ko domorol fana kol fana be firale de dadi mani domorol dir fana beteat. Gambia dawda yalo ngam fa kendol sotale je.
Wo mo yo diat ha.
Apelenta
baraka ba. Ni ma lafta nyelen kendol e bina.
Yalo bu kanyi la ko la baraka ba.
Yalo ndel chosano lo.
Abaraka.
Islamic microfinance is becoming an increasingly popular mechanism for poverty alleviation, especially for developing countries around the world. This microfinance service adheres to the principles of Islam as a form of social responsibility. Yona Islamic Microfinance is the Islamic microfinance of choice in the Gambia, trustworthy and reliable. At Yona Islamic Microfinance, we provide savings products, current accounts, financing products in conformity with Islam. In addition, Yona Islamic Microfinance also offers local and international remittances, takaful fund, management of zakat, management of awqaf, trading and investment, and building of strategic partnerships to bring financial services to the doorstep of the poor with donor projects, madrasas, youth organizations, women groups, and farmer organizations. Make a choice with Yona Islamic Microfinance today. For more information on Yona Islamic Microfinance, call 377-2151 or 9832-151 or visit Yona head office at Tipa Garage, Bakote, or visit any Yona branch located countrywide near you.
Hello and welcome. This is the Brunch, and this week we continue our look at current affairs. That's about news that dominated events in the country in the past 7 days. Today we will pick up the bits and pieces from the defeat in the National Assembly of a bill seeking to repeal the Anti-FGM law. We will also look at another potentially controversial bill. That's the vetting bill. Just what exactly is envisaged in the bill, and so far, what has been the reactions. We will also go to the courts because there have been decisions in very important cases. One against the UDP, if you like. The UDP were seeking to annul the appointments of governors and deputy governors in a suit that we learned was yesterday struck out in court. But is it already a done deal for the party who are saying they have achieved what they intended in the suit? We will discuss all these things and reactions from it. So with me in the studio are my partners in crime when it comes to current affairs. I have Kexx Sanneh, Kexx, who followed, a blogger who followed the Gambian affairs very well, both in the parliament and in the courts. Sait Matty from the civil society is here, and so my colleague, journalist Yusuf Taylor Flexdan from the Gainaco is also here. Gentlemen, welcome to the program. Now, the controversial law which seeks to, or rather bill which seeks to repeal the FGM law was finally laid to rest. Oh, who am I? Maybe it's not, because we've seen that in the aftermath of the decision by parliamentarians to keep the anti-FGM law, the proponents of FGM are still not resting. They've called the decision a sellout or a betrayal of the people who sent the MPs. Some even went to the point to curse the MPs who have voted for the bill. But generally, the reception has been very good across the world. International organizations and FGM activists all over the world commended the Gambia for what they call doing the right thing. Let me go first to start with Kexx. You were in the assembly, if I am right, when the decision to kill the bill was made. A momentous decision. How was the atmosphere leading up to the... Let me ask a personal question. Do you expect the bills to be defeated?
Yeah, thank you very much. First of all, on that very day, I was unfortunate because it's coincided with another case that I'm following at the courts, and it's coming the same time.
Okay.
So I was actually at the court, but I passed a highly crowded of different sections.
Yes.
You have the anti-FGM and those in support of these things are all parked at the National Assembly gate. Also, you have the PIO officers all stationed there trying to at least maintain order during that. But I was following it live, and immediately, because actually what happened is that what I learned to understand, the requirement for it to go to the third reading was not actually met. So if that happens in Parliament, what is called, then means the bill has failed for it to actually go. So there was no much of a decision like where they will go into voting and people decide. When they tabled the report, when the bill was tabled after the first reading, there was a recommendation for the bill to go into committee stage where they will have a dialogue with all sectors of the players in the field, either the regional group, the civil society, the victim itself, those who, have gone through FGM, the medical personnel, and even they travel outside the country to go up to Egypt to have fact finding so that they will have well informed in terms of the bill that they are discussing, so that they will have subject matter specialists too that will advise them. So after that, that was tabled before the parliament and it was adopted. Majority voted for the the findings of the committee to be adopted.
Yeah.
So now it's adopted. Now it goes into the third reading where they look at clause by clause. But there is a threshold in terms of what should be met. For it to go to the final reading where actually they will start voting. So it doesn't meet those things. So that means that it has failed, meaning that the previous law is still maintained, whilst the one that intended to leave the previous one, so put a restriction where actually to ban the FGM Act itself fails to meet the requirement of the parliament.
So in other words, it never reached the voting procedure.
Absolutely.
And it died along the way.
Yeah, along the way, because there are requirements.
Could the supporters of the law, could they say it died because of technicalities? And it was voted out. It was voted out. Okay, it was always going to be voted out.
Yes, so absolutely. Absolutely.
I see.
Absolutely.
So what has then become the attitude of the National Assembly? Because if I remember the history of the bill, it looks like from the beginning there were many supporters of the bill in the National Assembly. What has changed? What changed?
Yeah, actually, when it was first, it was a matter of day that was tabled by Suleiman Sao. When those two women were prosecuted and they were actually sentenced at one of the court in the CRR. So the imams start having a conversation around this issue, and it has created a debate in the whole country. So Suleiman take it as necessary that there must be a matter of the day to discuss this issue, because there's a threat that is looming towards the country. So he brought a matter of the day, but on that very day I could remember almost 43 people all supported for it to be a matter of choice rather than...
Even before Al-Mami Giba's private bill, it was Suleiman Sao who actually hinted.
Who hinted the parliament, and they debated about the issue, and almost 43 people took the floor that all supported that it should not, nobody should be punished for actually practicing this. It should be a matter of choice. Those who wants to do it, or they have a mechanism in place that nobody will do it at your own level, but you must go to a hospital where actually this thing will be conducted. Then it moved towards now tabling a bill to that aspect, and I learned that even before Al-Mami Giba, there were some MPs that intended to actually table the bill, like the deputy speaker was the person who even championed. He went up to the records office and tabled his intention to table a bill that will repeal the present one. But after consultations, maybe after consultations,
activists pressing him.
So maybe they don't know, because it requires consultation. So after there was discussions of people who are affected to explain to them to understand what is at stake, and the international standard. Gambia is protocol. We have signed so many international protocols that are against bills that will torture our fellow citizens, because they see this more of a torture where you cut a part of a woman or a part of a lady. So they look at all these things. So I think they were well sensitized to understand, and after their understanding, change their thinking of how they see the bill. Before, they didn't have a consultation to know. They think that it's something that might bring issue, but when they are engaged with civil societies and other medical doctors and other parts of the world, they understand actually it is just beyond what we were seeing. But this is more of when you look at the international agreement that what we ratify as parliament, by passing this law means we will go against those international agreements that we have, because we said we will protect our girl child, but now we cannot now pass a bill that will torture those people, because it's a form of a torture and other things. So now that change the whole narrative. But then Al-Mami Giba pick it from where CD stops and actually decided to go and table the bill. So that's why the entire bill came up. But due to consultation, many members who supported it when there was a matter of the day now have more idea, of the whole issue, see it in a broader perspective rather than just what they first thought that was the bill. Then they changed their position, and automatically the bill has now failed.
Supporters, and Al-Mami himself accused foreign powers, activists all over the world for bribing the National Assembly members and local activists on the ground to wage a campaign against the bill. You must have had those sentiments.
Yes, actually, I even just day before yesterday, I think she was in this studio with Fatu and one of Fatumata Balde, who is also the other side they were having, and he still maintained those things that, you know, the decision of the parliament was not locally,
it was not a
local decision conceived, but actually it was the pressure from the international communities, you know, international bodies, and some, you know, monetary gains.
And even the Gambia government was put under pressure
you know,
at some
point. So he was still saying that because he said there was no consultation in terms of going to the very people who are practicing in, like, go to Alcalos, go to community villages, go to Nansimbas and engage them. Rather, it was more of engaging people who are actually already, they know their position, that these are the people who will. But Fatou Baji told him that you guys didn't do your work, but for us, we bring the people who were victims to the parliament, and they came and explained their ordeal to the people. We bring Nansimbas who were practicing, but now they have seen the negative impact that it has on them, and they came and they gave their presentation in them. So you people, you fail to bring the people that you feel like, okay, those people believe that this is a cultural or religion, and come and defend it. But Cyprian Islam Council was there, and for them, they didn't disagree. What they said if we can bring anything that shows that it is negative, it has a negative impact on the people, facts, they will definitely, because the religion is not here to torture anybody. The religion is a very decent religion that doesn't want human beings to suffer. It values human beings. So if they see those things, and they were able to bring those evidence according to them to present it before the parliament. So they said based on their findings, and they have made a report, and the report was adopted by the parliament. And since it's adopted by the parliament, that means that their findings were correct. So this were the thing. But still now, Al-Mami and his team doesn't agree. They think that the decision was more of the international pressure.
Seth, did we make progress, or we merely delayed further controversies on the matter?
I think, in terms of the bill, one can say, perhaps there is progress. Progress in the sense that, we have stopped the attempt to, put the lives of women and young girls at risk. So there's a progress on that side, but there isn't progress on the other side where, you usually see men. It's the women that will. I've been on this FGM work for 10 years. If people are talking about money, I think by now I would have been very rich if the West was giving us all this different money. But now we are here still suffering. But the reality is, FGM is for us that have been working on that. There are certain realization that you have to do. One, that is a traditional practice that have been here for thousands of years. And secondly, how do you convince a society that sees it as both cultural but also religious? So it requires education. And so on that side, I feel still that there's a lot of work that needs to be done in terms of educating people. So I'm not going to say that it is over yet, but it's also not something that should come and happen and stop now. Because for us, our strategy for the past 10 years has been to ensure that you educate people, and within a generation, this practice could be end. Today, all these people that are talking, they're saying our great-grandfathers, our grandmothers, they do it and nothing happened to them. I am telling you, their kids or grandkids will not do it. If they have the chance, if they understand it, they will not do it. So how do you prepare society to start discussing about this issue, to start thinking about the future? Because eventually, there were a lot of things that was done in this society, and nobody is doing them anymore. So in terms of the law, it is there, but laws could also, somebody else could wake up again and then bring another controversy, as you can say. But right now, I think what we have gone through also is a democratic process. And when they rejected the constitution, I wanted the constitution so bad. I was there, I was talking. But after they rejected it, what did I say? I say it's a democratic process. You come, you try, you feel, you come back again if you're interested in the democratic process. But here also, for me, the problem is we took the conversation to what it is not. The conversation is about the health and well-being of young women, of women. That is the conversation. To what extent is FGM or whatever term we call it? I hear people say circumcision. Other people call it cutting. Other people call it whatever. So people is potato is the same. It's the same, effect that people are saying. But so for us, it is important that we look at that in terms of that conversation. How can we generate such kind of conversations that will continue? But the issue is in this country, and that's what we wanted to do. When this issue started, we said, let's come and have a conversation. You are misinterpreting. You are taking the conversation to what it is not. But let's have a conversation. We discuss and see and understand. So we are talking about Parliament. Parliament, they went through, because for us as advocates, that's what we do. We help people. We have no power. We just advocate. We tell you what we feel, and we brought in people. Kexx mentioned it. You know, at some point, our strategy was, you know, talking about human rights, talking about all these things. People can debate all of that. But if you take the Ngansimbas, if you take the women that went through it, those people that feel the real pain, who will disagree with them? It is only men, mostly men, that will come and say it's not happening, or you're gonna feel, or it's our culture. You know, then this is the problem that I have within our society. That
critics said even those Ngansimbas themselves have been through some brainwashing.
But at least, so, Lamin, look at me today. You know, when I was young, like today, like I'm learning, I'm growing, I'm becoming better. You know, I think. Everybody is like that. Today you can be practicing something you don't know that it is causing harm, and then tomorrow you can do that. And this opponent, sometimes when they argue for Islam, I said, in this country, tell me, who in this country has ever taught Ngansimbas how to do it in Islamically? No. There has never been that. So people are telling you what is happening. You sit there because you're not feeling it. You start, you know, talking about that. But this has been tradition. And people are seeing that. Sometimes they cause the harm themselves, and they see that. So eventually, people will learn and will grow. People will learn, and that's what human beings are supposed to do. You see that today you're doing this, no problem. Tomorrow you do it, problem. Just coming to Dakar the other time, they stopped people from driving and entering the country because there were a few accidents. Because people were having accidents at night. So the state must take its role because to prevent that. And people using Islam, using culture, those are dynamic stuff. I mean, not Islam is permanent. Islam is society change with it, but Islam is permanent. So the cultural aspect. I mean, the debate and all this West is giving you money. Here, everybody is benefiting from the West. Go to our hospitals. Who is sponsoring that? And yesterday I was talking to one guy. He's telling me, "Oh, UNICEF was supporting you, or this and that," and they accuse us of bringing in the West supporting us. But they brought in a U.S. citizen here, calling himself Gambian, and he was here. She was here. That's a foreigner. That's a Westerner. That was here talking about.
When I asked her, she said she was never sponsored by.
Oh, she's an American citizen.
She came here.
I mean, it's a come on.
But she was married to a Gambian.
Whatever it is, it's a foreigner.
But
Because it's a Gambian citizen.
She told me that she has never.
I mean, we know. So she has many stories. We know.
I told her your presence is suspicious.
It is very suspicious.
That's what we said. Yes, I told her.
We know.
No, I've not been.
Hey,
I've not been bribed.
You know, so me, who's giving us money then?
He said people like you.
That's what I'm saying. You know, it's foreign. So for us, where it is, we brought in Ngansimbas, people that feel it, people Gambians, to talk about this issue. You know, for us, you see, me sometimes, you know, we can disagree on many other issues, but the sanity of our conversation must be based on us.
Absolutely.
It must be centered on us. You cannot accuse of us, you know, getting Western support. In next minute, you are bringing somebody from the West, Westerner, even the citizen. Did we bring anybody from the West to come and start and say Gambian women are free to choose? You know, so these are the issues that sometimes. That's why I'm saying that the conversation went to an extent.
The West came through proxies.
So maybe the West is opposed to FGM as well. The West that is openly saying protect the culture is not opposed to FGM again. So sometimes, you know, like there is when you pick things that are not the conversation, you don't create room for any conversation.
Okay.
And so you can accuse people while you are doing the same thing. You know? But for us, what I'm saying that the UN, in this country, the hospitals, 5-year-old, World Health, everybody, those people that are talking about that, these are the very people that are spending money in our hospitals. These are the money that are spending money in taking care of the women. And they are noticing that this is creating more problem. They are telling you and you are saying, oh, it's foreign, it's foreign. But yet you are not saying foreign to the money. You are not saying foreign to the tally. You are not saying foreign to anything else. Okay. And I think sometimes, you know, for me, this is what I don't understand. Like, let's have the real conversation and then we talk about it. We talk about it as a people. We make the decision as a people. And I'm happy that Parliament rejected it.
For us, we suffered as journalists because, you know, people are saying, look, don't give platform to this kind of people. Yet, if you suppress their views, they say, well, you are openly supporting one side. And this one side, this is one topic you find difficult.
Lamin, me, one thing is here, you know, we are all advocates.
Yes.
For me, this is how I identify all of us. Whether you are Supreme Islamic Council is not a national institution. It's a civil society like us.
Yeah, well, they wouldn't say that.
No, but that's the reality. I am a member, you are a member. Everybody that says a Muslim is a member. So they're supposed to speak for all the Muslims.
Yeah.
That's the reality. It's not a government institution. So they are advocates just like us. They're advocating because they want Islamic
traditions.
Traditions and all that, but also to ensure that there is a peace and everybody should support them.
Yeah.
So for me, when they say tomorrow is Julie, I Julie with them.
Yeah.
But when it comes to the health and welfare of the people,
You disagree.
I don't go to them.
Yeah.
I go to the medical practitioners because those are the ones that specialize on that.
Yeah.
So for me as an advocate, my advocacy is how do we bring all these divergent voices together so that we can create platform.
Absolutely.
And I like that. The media should give them platforms so that people can hear them and then we counter them.
Exactly.
That's what's supposed to be in a democratic setting, not
Exactly.
to push these people. But if you push them on the ground and they come vexed and start doing things,
their point of view will not be understood.
let it be open, let's discuss it. And now that's what, for me, that's what I prefer. But others will not because of we should also understand the survivors. Because you come and talk about all these different issues, it also gives them pain. Like it might not do anything to me, I will be open to it. But somebody that went through it, understand their pain and you come and tell them it's not true.
It's not so.
Like how do you know?
Flex.
Yeah.
How did you live, as the Senegalese would say, Nakanga Dunde? How do you live through all this?
Yeah, I think this, first of all, welcoming my co-panelists and all the listeners, viewers. I think this has been a, how could I say, soul-searching moment, I think, if I could say, for the country. Obviously here, religion and politics has been a place, yes, which is usually not a very, it's like mixing oil and water, huh? So it becomes very difficult to see through it. But it was always framed as, you know, those who are trying to protect the girl child, the women, the children, versus those who are protecting a culture or, in some people's mind, a religion. Yes, from attack.
Yes.
Yes. So, which I felt was part of the problem, really, because we all eventually get to see that this thing, one can argue as much as possible, but it's very difficult to justify it as a religious practice because it predates the religion. Nobody will deny that particular point. So that is one of the places where this argument
is older than religion.
It is. No, but none of them will deny that. Religion came and met it here. So, which is one of the sticky points when you are talking about this. But the matter of the day, obviously, after the three women were, the whole thing, we need to remember what started it. Three women were arrested and found guilty by a court and charged. But then perhaps what they were charged with was not even according to what the law was saying.
That is where the problem is.
Yes.
How if that thing, the enforcement brought the problem.
Yes.
How do we expect to enforce this again?
Yes, the thing was,
aren't we prepared?
First of all, you think if they had said that, follow the law said 50,000, 50,000, 50,000. You think Imam Fati will go and pay 150,000?
He could have. He was backed by people.
Perhaps he might have his sources.
He was also they accused us of being backed in.
He said that some good people supported him.
Okay, so this
and
is
I agree.
This is what he said. So for me,
and I don't. Well, I hope not. Nobody will be prosecuted.
Well, no, but for him, anytime they are supporting him, they are good people.
He said they are good people.
Yes. But for others who are against the same thing, which is advocating for, if they have sponsors or supporters, they are not good people. They are the West. So, but I wanted to bring things a little bit.
And you know what they said? Okay. Now that the government has agreed to keep this Western idea, according to them, let's see why didn't they accept the LGBT and gay rights?
No, you see, this is where where the conversation will continue to go with Gambians. That is not even our problem.
So they're just pushing the goalposts. You see, that's and a debate like people that keep pushing the goalposts. It's always very difficult.
No, it's like what they also have. Both sides have very solid arguments. They are very solid arguments. They accuse the government of being inconsistent. At the beginning, all the pro-government MPs, like we said here, were for the bill. The government disagreed with the West about LGBT law.
Of course.
But now the government is in agreement with the West, according to them.
Yes.
for this law to stay here.
Yes. So what do they assume? They assume that as soon as the government agrees to one thing from the West,
they will say
the government must agree with everything else from the West.
They fear that one day government will continue to listen to the West until they
you see, but Flex, do you know that even during the constitution, you see, for me I see two things. Is like people driving fear in the minds of the people, saying that, like, assuming that Lamin, this is what you're gonna do, when you don't even know what Lamin is thinking about. So LGBT, if we do our barometer survey, do you know that Gambia is one of the most homophobic, if not the only homophobic country in the world? We are about 96-97% of people that do not even want homosexual next door. And then,
that is not our problem.
Yeah, they like 96%. Like
don't want homosexual.
Yeah, they don't want as neighbors and all that stuff. So if you look at the list from Afrobarometer, we've even released a list. You compare with other countries, you see, Senegal, Gambia. That's how you see the list. So for me, that argument is zero. Secondly, we also have a law that prevents that from happening. And at some point,
but that's what they will say. They're saying that since the trend,
but the law is there.
Somebody mad MP will come and say, well,
Lamin,
let us now illegalize. Let's legalize LGBT roles.
Well, Lulu is never possible. It's never possible in this country. Who's gonna let people will be free to talk about that? But who's gonna? I mean, I'm saying this because you need to understand the cultural context. Yeah, we are talking about cut. You are talking cutting and removing cut.
Those are all diversions.
To say there's the people who argue.
Yes.
People who are not.
Yeah, like us. Now tomorrow we'll turn. At some point during the constitutional debate, somebody accused me of promoting homosexuality.
That's right.
Because I was telling them that the secular you are talking about is not the secular that we are talking about.
I tell you about one thing. I found even government officials, even this FGM thing could have long been handled by government if they had taken their position from the very beginning. Not so. They could have said, look, Imam, this is law, we are enforcing law, you don't go into this area. But government itself, like other governments, because not only this government, we are a little bit shy of taking a bold position on this matter. And I have seen them being shy in taking their position in many matters. For example, I'll bring you a quarrel between us and the National AIDS Secretariat. During the COVID time, the National AIDS Secretariat said they are going to give COVID relief funds to people who are living with HIV/AIDS. But a certain percentage of them are sex workers. You listen to my... They're going to give COVID funds to people living with sexually... with HIV and AIDS. A certain percentage of which are sex workers. When the journalists report that sex workers are going to receive COVID relief, they came back and said, no, we never said that. So you see, no, we never said that. You are the one who told us that these people are going to have it. And the number
like where I blame the journalists too.
So I blame the
But the way the journalists...
But the way you frame
But the way the journalists frame it. The way the journalists frame it.
They are the ones who said a certain percentage of them are sex workers. So when we said sex workers too,
that's true.
They said, no, we never said. I told them, every day, you should be proud. It's your job. Every day you are dealing with sex workers. You are giving them protection. Advise how to stay away, from getting infected. Every day you deal with them. Today, you are saying,
but you are also protecting the public.
So, but the thing is now, if it is my job to do that, and you know what happened? When that was published, nothing happened except one imam went to Friday prayers and started attacking them. Then they came back to say, no, we never said this. I said, you are government. Every day you are dealing with sex workers. How come you are disowning that you are dealing with them now? You see, I've seen that point too. So I think government should not be shy of taking responsibilities. It is your job, it's my job. Yes, these people are part of government, doesn't know discrimination.
Exactly.
Government is for everybody.
Everybody.
So you should not decide to say no, and you are dealing with everybody. So if they had taken a position from day one, I think this conversation wouldn't have reached there.
Yeah, I think that highlights the importance of government being proactive, being bold, being decisive.
Exactly.
Without that, then problems will continue.
Absolutely.
And then it represents on the leadership of the country that maybe, oh, they are not decisive enough or that they are too laid back. And then when that is the case, problems continue to fester. So, but I think it's very important. You see, to highlight a few things. The matter of the day, when it happened, Honorable Suleiman Saho, a number of members did speak. So with the matter of the day, there is no usually a vote. But in the speech that is made, the person can make a recommendation, which is exactly what my colleague said, right? So obviously the recommendation was to go through the bill. But I know at that same moment, there were still some members, so there was not a vote to actually be able to tell how many members actually were for it, how many members were not for it. And usually when the matter of the day comes, it's not like they give everybody chance to speak. Because of this is something which is just a matter of the day. Yeah, there's a time frame, and usually just few people spoke. And most of the time, especially if at all it has some sort of support, and given the context of what happened, which was, oh, they are arresting our mothers. Yeah, we need to protect women. So you see how the thing is
sentiment.
It's both ways. One is saying we are protecting our girl child, the other is saying we are protecting our mothers, allow our mothers, free our mothers. So that was the emotion. So, but I know that some members were not in favor of it. Yeah. Especially some of the younger members, some of the members who had been in civil society. Even if some of them voted, I know they don't believe in it. I can tell you that. Yeah, but some of them do believe in it because of the Honorable Suleiman Saho, who is a culturist. I had an interview with him, one-on-one. We spoke about this thing. He is a culturist. So if you understand him, you will know that he really believes in culture and the tradition and those kind of things. And that obviously he is close with those people. And he is also, that was his perspective. Yeah. So coming from the matter of the day, we must also remember that when Honorable Jiba was tabling for the first reading, we were in Ramadan, right? There was a big, at that moment, of course, you know the sentiment of the country. So I can assure you, in my view, in my belief, I was even concerned that if this bill was going to go through the process during that period, there could have been a very realistic, in my belief, that bill could have passed. Yeah.
Was it not the reason that they had to delay it for a committee to...
No. A bill usually is not, normally, is not passed in the same session.
Okay.
So normally, except if you have an extraordinary session.
Yeah.
Because an extraordinary session is the certificate. Within 48 hours, when it is stable, it will be.
But I believe at the time, like you said, there was a genuine fear that the bill was going to be successful.
It's politics. Politics, the sentiment of the people, the mood of the people
at the time
is so important, and you need to gauge it. You need to tap into it. So my view, if that bill was, but I know that a bill does not pass in the same session, so I was like, it will go on another.
Because even those that came accompanied with, how to call it, urgent matters from the...
No, for those ones,
they
have to finish it.
Yes. When they sit for 48 hours, 2 days,
comes through the certificate.
So this bill came through a session.
Normal session. So extraordinary session is an extraordinary session.
Okay.
But even now, it's been like a fast-track bill sort of, compared to others that have been there.
Yes.
Because still the...
And also, a lot of times, it depends on the bill. So for that bill, it was just 3 clauses, or to repeat.
To say delete.
So a lot of these bills, like for example, the Constitution is a book. You give that to the committee, they will have to do wide consultation to prepare the report. Might be even just 2 weeks. So for this bill was just to remove actually, delete. That's what the bill was saying. So in total, there were about 4 clauses. Now, when I look and I published an article on this, you realize that even the first title, the first clause is the title, short title. Even that one, members voted it out. And this is how they voted. 20 said no, that they want, 20 were in favor for the short title to remain part of the bill. And then 32 said no, the short title, remove it from the bill. No abstentions. So what that means, they are removing the short title of the bill. Immediately, that is now you are killing You are killing that bill.
Automatically, yeah.
Because a bill cannot come without a short title. Either you change the title, yeah, or you if you remove it, then the rest. So it continued like that. The speaker eventually agreed that, okay, I will just go through the process just for going through the process. And he also allowed a loophole. If people want to change, somebody could have recommended that the short title be changed. And then the bill could have even been changed. So politics is very interesting. In the end of the day, it went around that 34 were saying no, come out, and they voted out all of the 4 clauses, all of it. And in that way, the bill, the bill had all its clauses stripped, which is why the speaker had to rule that this bill has been negative. Where now there's no point. This bill is now dead. So that was how the bill.
We will stay with
that was also an interesting case. You know, if you study parliamentary procedures and all that, and so the speaker has to come up with a ruling. So for us, it was a very interesting one as well, in terms of that. But you know, generally, I see, you know, like he talked about, there are people that were. So for me, you know, people and their opinion is their opinion, and what they believe in is theirs. You cannot take it away from them. But you also, I see a lot of people blaming, you know, the ones that voted, you know, doing it. But politicians are not there in parliament only for themselves. They are there for, you know, that's why in political science we also say the dilemma of a politician. You know, when do you represent your party? When do you represent your constituency? So how do you balance all those different issues? I think are also very important in the conversation. But eventually, you know, is a democratic setup. And after the vote, I just said that maybe our democracy is also maturing.
Absolutely.
You know?
But I want to say something. No matter what, politician, whatever, do no harm must be your principle. If you are representing the Gambian people, you cannot tell us that you are ignoring do no harm policies or principles. It must be embedded in you. If no matter what people want you to do, people cannot ask you that you should repeal a bill which is protecting children, which we all know is blood will be shed. No, definitely.
We will still stay with the parliamentary matters, but we have, court cases coming up, mostly the UDP versus the governors, as well as the Isa Fati, the sensational Isa Fati case. We will have all that in the program. Now let's go to parliamentary matters still. You know, this bill they talk about called vetting bill, which I think is a little bit related to the resignations we have of 2 ministers, supposedly because they hold dual nationalities. Let's talk about that and go to the vetting bill to see how they are related and what will be the implications if the vetting bill ever get passed. Let's start with you. What was your reaction when you heard about ministers, 2 ministers? One got sacked, one resigned, but people said they're for the same reason. Even though the government did not give any reasons for the case of the sacking of Ba.
Yes.
But people said in both cases is that they might have holding dual citizen.
Yeah, well, that's what a lot of people, and there have been a number of reports going out about all of that, and number of clarifications here and there. So we are following that. But I do believe that the vetting bill is not related to the resignation. Because why? The vetting bill, it was part of the 6 bills, we reported this, that were supposed to come at the extraordinary session that happened last year, where they passed the former president's bill. And the TRRC ban, and a few other bills. Yes. So that bill was one of the bills which we started seeing just before that session. Yeah. And that bill, the moment there was consultation, government was doing consultation before the bills came. And all the signals the government was getting was that this bill, the people don't want it. And in fact, it's the reason why that bill didn't come at the extraordinary session. Just to give you a context of how far back it was last year.
Conceived.
Yes. So
now it is before the...
Now the bill is before Parliament.
Let's look at the nitty-gritties of the bill. The contentious areas are that people who might be appointed in senior positions, the vetting committee, what do they call the body that will...
Vetting agency.
Vetting agency will vet them. And even they themselves or their spouses or whatever the cases might have. So the fear is that this vetting agency is not just too intrusive, but it could be abused for political reasons to stop people from, qualified people from given jobs. Or you are in a government position which they think is sensitive, or maybe your responsibility is so important. You need to be vetted to know whether you are qualified to hold such positions, such confidentiality, or your competence, or
loyalty.
Loyalty. That's one of the criteria.
Loyalty is the word that in fact brings.
That's one of the criteria. So first of all, this bill.
The government argued that this is necessary because we want to know. That's why I wanted to say remotely it may be connected to the double citizenship, dual citizenship, because there too the argument was that you may not be loyal if you have a nationality of another country.
But can I just say, but the bill, I mean, part of the SSR, we've had a debate, me and him, we, sometimes we debate on this issue. And for me, the bill was part of the SSR conversation.
The
security sector reform.
Even that's what it
part
says
of
in
the issues. Because during the start, I was part of the technical working group at some point and I left. But some of those issues were that we need to vet people and all those different stuff. And so I think this bill was developed since the time of Bar, and now it's just like maybe they want to successfully finish with the SSR process, but then the content is problematic. And I think that's where the issue is.
Let's have the contentious.
So the bill, the main thing that the bill tries to do is to create an agency. It will create an agency that will do vetting. So, in fact, the minister, when he was presenting the bill and explaining it to members, he highlighted similarly what my colleague is saying, that it is part of the whole TRRC, that there are some persons, if they don't want them to continue being in the government, that this is an avenue, which I completely disagree with him. Because there's a TRRC ban act already, specifically to ban persons from the TRRC. So how could the minister come in front of parliamentarians? In my view, that was a very misleading statement from the minister. The vetting bill, what it's supposed to do.
He tried to justify the bill by bringing in
the TRRC.
Those aspects.
When you have a bill which is specific
dealing with that,
it's called TRRC Band Act. And in the bill, and the minister needs to come because they haven't done. They passed that bill. That bill allows you to have a schedule, and it is in that schedule that you will be listing those persons to be banned. They should have in fact, I don't know whether members are watching. Members should have demanded that the minister should come and bring that schedule. Who are the persons that are banned? And if you want to ban any person, you use the TRRC as a basis, you ban them.
I see.
That's all that they should have done.
So let's continue.
So now, the bill will create an agency to do vetting. Vetting is something which I completely agree with. We need to vet every single person.
Parliament that should be vetting.
Not even Parliament. We have what? For Public Service Commission, they deal with civil servants. For security, they have institutions within the security that deal with recruitment. The National Intelligence Agency, this is about, if you read, it also coincides with people who are having access to sensitive information.
It's not all levels.
It's not, shouldn't be. For application section in the bill, there's a section that says application. In there, it talks about persons who are in touch with sensitive information. But the truth is also, the agency has the power to vet anybody. Even though
in public service,
anybody, any public service, civil society. No, not civil society. I mean security. Security. When I see him, I always talk.
I know.
He's my security reference.
Okay.
So, but these are the things that will happen. For me, vetting is just simply a process. Yes. The issue is this: if you want vetting, the Public Service Commission is there. Include the vetting, required vetting for civil servants as a process within the public service. If you want similarly for the security agents, that can also be put in the institutions that recruit security agents. Now, for sensitive government information, and I'm going through it step by step for people to understand. You have the national or SIS, State Intelligence Service. Normally what happens? every government, yeah, you classify your information.
Yes.
Yeah, and there are different stages: top secret, secret, and others. Confidential,
restricted.
Yes, that is should be controlled by the SIS. I don't know whether the Ministry of Information will have any hand in that, but those are the people. So now, if that is controlled by the SIS and the government has even a proper classification of information and that they are following, knowing how we are with information, which is what I think that this bill is a waste of our time. Then now, anybody who is going to have access to that, who should vet you? The SIS. So why do we have to spend millions of Gambian taxpayers' money? We'll be creating an inspector general. We already have one inspector general of police under the powers of the president. Let's give another power.
The head of this agency will be called
Inspector General of the agency.
Inspector General.
How many people? How many persons or commissioners? I think 5 or so. See, look, this government should stop playing with us. Let this government stop playing. We are not running a government to create institutions and unnecessarily be paying commissioners $100,000 per month. Vehicles. Look, we're not even talking about the staff yet. The issues I have to sit, no, those are the issues of finance, the issues of procedure, the things about the reasoning for us to look about this bill. Those are the things I'm just laying for you now. Now let's go nitty-gritty into the bill. This bill is telling you that civil servants, can be vetted, that they are partners. Those are the words they use. Spouses and close associates can also be screened.
So if I perhaps am aiming to be Secretary General, President's office, they would also not only look at my, but they will look at my associates like Flex and
if I refuse, and what the bill is saying, and this is even the most contentious part of it. If I refuse as your associate, or if your spouse refuses, that is basis for them to reject you a clearance. You will be termed an unacceptable risk. Can you imagine?
Interesting.
And with that, you could be removed. Look, this bill, let's call a spade a spade. This bill is here for opposition. We've had the president, and I'll put context now. I'm not going to just analyze this bill. I'll put context.
President said some civil servants are loyal to the opposition.
Please, complete it for me.
That's what
when did he say that?
He said that.
Not so long ago.
And he said that if you are found to be sympathetic to the opposition, you'll be sacked.
In this bill, the bill says that if you are somebody who is supporting a group or like loyal to the state, and members are debating about that people should be loyal. How do you measure loyalty? Come on, look, this country, we have to be very serious.
Maybe it should be measured with
so these are the problems with the vetting bill. That's one, it can be abused and targeting opposition politicians or opposition people, or people who might in fact be very good civil servants, but maybe their school of thought in politics belongs to the other side. And this bill is clearly going to remove them. So you mean the intention is to target?
Clearly, if they pass this bill,
Sait Matty?
We will have a very politicized civil servants, civil service. We'll have a very politicized security institution in this country. And it will be, for me, this is the most dangerous bill I have ever seen. And I'm not going to stop advocating against this bill.
Yeah, I mean, I was, just for also context, that, I mean, this is also part of the SSR process. I mean, but for me, I've been part of the SSR process, but part of generally what they call the transition. But at that time, we were also talking about, people that violated people's rights, that people were just being brought into the security institution without knowing, this issue of rebels joining our security institutions. And there was also a discussion about what we're going to do. Are we going to right size or downsize because there were too many people in the security services and all that stuff. And so vetting as part of SSR process is that, you look at people in terms of how they serve, and then you measure them within that context, and you see who you're going to remove, with those that you're going to weed out, and those that you're going to let to continue. But even those that you're going to weed out, you're going to weed them out in a process that you have to also pay them back, because they were services and now you are reforming, so you have to change that. But for me, when I look at the current context, and here, Madi wrote a very, important review where I looked at it and see, okay, this was the original thinking.
Thank you.
But currently, looking at the transition and all that, even within the security sector, because now we are establishing quite a lot of different mechanisms. There's a security bill which will give power to the Office of National Security to be able to coordinate security institutions, and I think that would be a very important instrument to include, and some of the other things that he talked about, because you can vet people. Even vetting is done by almost everybody. Like, you look at them, but now if you go beyond that, looking at security, about when a bill was talking about those that were violating human rights, and now you bring it in terms of thinking about the future. Now this bill is a futuristic bill. It's not almost addressing some of the issues that were identified by the TRRC. Some of them have been already asked to go on administrative leave, but now it's talking about future employment in government also. That when you are being employed, but even now I heard that they are gonna even vet those that are currently there as well.
Yes, that's what the minister said.
Yeah, but also in the future.
So it's going to be,
yes.
Once it's enacted, it's going to be.
These people, we give them the power to vet anybody, they can vet anybody.
So for me, now for me the issue is, I'm not going to ask let them throw it away all entirely, but I want it to be looked into from the original thinking to where we are now as a country, and what are the relevant and unnecessary things that we don't have to do that. But right now, definitely, we have gone to an extent that even the military is recruiting, all these different security institutions are recruiting. So we're not talking about now reducing the size of this institution. Now we're talking about how do we strengthen those. So, idea of vetting is part of the reform process, but what is currently within the bill, and I think that's what Flex has a lot of problem with, needs to be definitely looked at.
Kexx.
Yeah, I cannot agree more with my colleague what they actually said. There are mechanisms in place if you want to vet people in terms of their appointment. But if you come with a bill, because we have to look at, we have passed certain laws that also protect the fundamental right of a person. And me being an employer of the state, choose to serve my country, should not affect people that are close to me or my associates. But if the bill is going beyond only me as a person who choose to serve the government, it becomes a problem. Then you look at the fundamental rights of and if you look at it, they said if person whose spouse or a close associate refuse, that can be that you person will be qualified as a security risk of the country. Then they label you as somebody who is a security risk of the country. Now you are marking people, because of a spouse or a friend refuse to give information, disclose information to the vetting committee about who you are as a person. I might be associated with you, but I don't know who you are. We can be friends, but I don't know you deep inside what type of person you are that I can give to a public officer. So these are issues that...
Well, if my appointment now would have to depend on the conduct or thinking of my friend or my wife, then that's a problem.
In a small state theory, we say don't make enemies of your neighbors.
I don't know now.
Maybe that might help us to come back together.
It's a problem for me, and I think that, like he said, the idea of the bill at the initial stage, if they have limited it to that angle, people can at least negotiate and see that actually. But now going beyond, only that people will see it. We had the president comment, like Fred said, that there are people that are in the system, they are not loyal to the government, they are not supporting the political parties. Now that when the bill comes, it's not going to be like moving forward, but it will apply onto people who are already been appointed and they are in the system. And we always keep on hearing this even from the party supporters of NPP or UDP. Okay, this particular company, but it's UDP sponsored, he sponsored UDP and government is serving this party. We had all those things here. So now that this law is telling you, you have to look into that person's conduct. So you can have an enemy at somewhere else, you think that is a close associate, and come and interview him and say, yes, even last times I saw him, he gave a pickup to this political person. So that becomes a problem. And how do you are now not looking at the competence of the person, but how do you measure what we call honesty or loyalty to country? How do you measure that?
Civil servants are not normally allowed, according to the GO, to show their political opinion in public. All right, but they vote.
But depending on who you are showing it to.
And of course, it's just, I think that's only in in Senegal, the leader of the opposition can still be in the civil service. Bachelet was a statistician, was it? Landing Savané and all that. They have professions and they are serving the state and they are political leaders.
But the law went further to tell that you have the right of political participation, right to be voted and to be voted.
Yes. Exactly.
So if you, I cannot, maybe during the tenure of my work, I cannot portray
any
symbols of your political, but you must have that, you have that right.
Yes,
and that's a bad right.
Yeah.
That nobody can deprive you from it. That's the political exercise of your political right, right to be voted and to be voted.
So it looks like we are in for another...
I'm telling you guys, you are having a colonial state. You haven't restructured it, you haven't reformed it.
Absolutely.
So you're not going to get anything that is like, that's going to get you the democratic that we want. Unless you reform, you put it together, people start thinking the way forward. But otherwise, when you touch this one, oh, what about this one? What about this? What about that? You have a structure that is crumbling. And that's the reality in this country.
Just one last thing. If this bill, vetting bill, passes and NPP goes out of power, another government comes into power, what do you think they will use this a vetting agency to do?
They will want them to do their bidding.
Who will they come out for? We need to be, when bills come to this National Assembly, when bills come to the Parliament, or when they are bringing bills or to bring laws, they should be brought for posterity, for the Gambians, regardless of which party is here. Not that one party will abuse it, the next party that comes in, they abuse it to bring their own people. That kind of agency cannot work. They should kick it out.
Absolutely. So we are in for another contentious time in Parliament over this bill.
Absolutely.
Okay.
But it needs discussion.
No, discussion. For me, I show them committee to the committee.
Let them look at it.
Let them engage everybody and take the opinion of the public.
And this idea of rejecting bill when it gets to Parliament's job is to make bill law.
You are running away from your responsibility. That's what I told them. You cannot tell me that I'm a judge. Somebody come before me to educate. I tell you that no, I don't want. Or a doctor, I go there. I said I cannot take the case back. Take the case back.
They are not doing their job. Every bill must be the power go through
the whole process. Would you kill the bill at this initial stage?
Let there be, because bills are political documents as well. Yeah. People must debate it, must discuss it, must all those different stuff.
But the main problem I have with this bill was brought within that just before the extraordinary session, and everybody looked at it, and they gave comments to the minister that this bill, in the state that this bill you are showing us, we don't want you to bring the bill. The minister, in his wisdom and listening, they decided that that was one of the bills that will not come. Now, if you listen to the debates on this reading, this was one of the main points that was brought to the minister. We told you, Mr. Minister, that this bill, in this state, you should have done some things and comments and recommendations. Did they implement? Nothing. They brought the bill the same way.
No,
so the minister also, Parliament has... This bill should even be rejected, even now.
No.
Let the minister go and bring the comments and look at the recommendation.
Why does the minister have to do that when Parliament can do that?
No, he should have done that.
Like if they give you the bill, you know that there is issue, bring it, you have your committee, walk the walk. And then get those things, put it down in your minutes, and then let it be sent back.
But it's a consultative process.
Yeah, but then to see that...
Parliament has told you recommendations to do to the bill, and you don't do those bills.
When you say
and you bring it, and they reject it. So then how can you blame the
members? It shouldn't be rejected. You see, the idea of rejecting, that's what we
should... So the FGM...
it shouldn't be rejected.
It should not.
He said... No,
that's not what I'm saying.
He said, I'm saying without hearing from the people.
You see, that's what I'm saying. Like, it's not like you just come and then you say...
Like the Constitution. Like what happened in the Constitution.
Yeah, the Constitution, at least it went like that one. The first judicial bill also. I mean, I know that every bill is controversial.
The thing is, the Constitution didn't even pass the second.
That's what I'm saying.
But the FGM bill, it passed the second.
So it has to go through. And they have committee exhaust all the process.
Then
let there be decision. Today, if for instance the Constitution went through that process, I mean, for me, when they rejected it on the second round, I say it's democracy. And if they pass it until the third, they pass it and it comes to the people and the people reject it, it's democracy. So it's simple as that.
They should not have any chance.
Why to just bring and they say, take it away, we don't want to do it with it. For me, that is laziness.
I don't know what they want to bet, but we have it. Like the ombudsman, like when you are appointing those people, you have the national assembly. They must come. And the last time I could remember, the law is there. The first one that was chosen by the president, they vet and see that, okay, he doesn't have the qualification. Then they have to throw it back. Another person has to be. So you have already the mechanism. How do you cement that mechanism in the parliament? This is what be the most important. But why are you creating another agency? create commissioners, create all these things. We don't have the Inspector General of Commissioners. We have 5 commissioners every 4 years, and he can be renewed for another 4 years. Then that's the last time. You only serve 2 terms. You bring another new one. That party will say, okay, now the world economy has increased. I'll be paid this. You increase the salary. This is how it will go. So
let's reject Bill B.
I will make it more attractive.
Okay, you can see flex. Sometimes the other time we were discussing about the reparation. That perhaps there might not necessarily be a reparation commission, but you establish through National Human Rights Commission. You can have a bill, but like today, ombudsman. Ombudsman exists.
Can
go on reparation. Ombudsman can go and like if you and people don't know these things also. The ombudsman is there for those. It's an independent body. So you can have the law, but you say instead of creating the agency, which will gonna create more money, you just give it to those institutions.
I'm totally in agreement.
So basically,
I'm in agreement with those things for sure. We need vetting.
From the assembly, we are going to the courts now. We had yesterday, was the day before yesterday, that a court in Bundu have struck out a case of the UDP, the opposition UDP, against governors and deputy governors, and the UDP was seeking their removal because they said their appointment was improper, not accordance with the Civil Service Act laws, etc. Kexx, you've been following this case. Well, we know that before the end of the case, those governors were the targets of the shoot, and their deputies been removed and sent to the civil service. The opposition will say they were dumped at the Ministry of Local Government. So why didn't the UDP show up in court, to attend the conclusion of the case? Why? Why do you think they refuse to go there?
Yeah, actually, unless we hear from them what was their reason of not actually coming, but they had an intention of pursuing this case to its logical conclusion. That was their intention.
Are they satisfied that these people have been moved?
Yeah, I might not think that they are satisfied, because even after the government reacted immediately, because the first year and the moment it was published that UDP has filed a case against them, the government, before the next sitting, the government reacted by recalling all those people and putting people who has the qualification has dictated by Section 123 of the Local Government Act, that you must be a director, a position of a director general before you will actually be appointed. And that's, I think, great, one of their great in system. So they bring those people and bring those permanent secretary who have that qualification to go and be governors and deputy governors. And UDP came. By then, even the state now see that this matter is serious, because by then there is one state council who was representing the state by Koita. Council Koita has to, the director of civil litigation, Bingadi, has to come and represent the state now, because you see that now this is more of serious than just to leave junior councils to come and have debate with Dabo, because Dabo was coming with Bori, and Bori, all these are senior lawyers, and Yakumba are senior lawyers. And when he came the first day, he even told the court that if the state was a human being, he would have charged the court for contempt of court. Because they have filed this case before it will be decided. They went and removed the governors there when the case is before the court. So Dabo was very angry with the decision of the government, to react when the court didn't make a decision. And Binga was like, how can you charge us for contempt of court? There was no order to say that restrict us not to remove this until the determination. So how can you? So there was a heated debate among us. So that shows you the seriousness of.
But why do you think the government would remove them before the conclusion?
They were wrong.
They realized that they were wrong. What has been done? They look at the qualification. Like Baba Gale was just from the National Assembly as an MP. He never served a position where he could say this under the director.
Why do you mention Baba Gale?
I'm giving you an example.
Let's use the one.
Another one was the one from Sanneh. The other one was appointed from the diaspora. He just came there because of political, and he was just appointed as the governor. I think that was the West Coast, the governor of West Coast. And you have the CD Lamens from the NPP group, and they were all appointed. You see that the qualification. So they realized that, okay, we have made an error, and they rectified that error by.
So they didn't wait for the conclusion.
They didn't wait for the conclusion, and the case went for the second year. It was adjourned to the 3rd of June. 3rd of June to UDP came and they argued their case. It was now adjourned to the 17th. On the 17th they didn't come. Automatically then the judge, out of her own discretion, feel like, okay, let me wait until 7:30 past 11:45 because it was meant to be heard 11 o'clock. 11 o'clock, she waited until 11:45 and they called the case again. None of the UDP representatives, either their parties that filed the case were not there, the lawyers too were not there. So according to her, there was no communication. So she used that opportunity to actually stroke out the case. And people can analyze that, those who are familiar with the court to look at. There are cases that you give opportunities, where people will be absent for 3 occasions. Why this? So it's things that we can look at whether, she was just tired of this case and wanted to use this opportunity, or there was tangible reason.
Or maybe she knew that these people, what they are aiming for has been achieved. So there was no need for me to waste time on this.
No, but me, I like the. You see, it's for posterity.
Absolutely.
You see, these people have been appointing governors left, right, and center. He's talking about somebody just from the see, everything in this country is based on the laws. Laws are like doors, that open
but
things.
But if the UDP also wanted an interpretation, they should have been at the court and look at the facts.
This is where I feel that
the precedent should have been set. And there will be a judgment to that effect. And anytime it happens, people will be referred to the judgment. Because now, most of the time, judgments will come, but they come with recommendation, and people keep this recommendation. And there will be an act of parliament to make a law, to even the local government act, to cement it more. You will use that decision of the court, and maybe there can be a parliamentary who will come with a private member, so that law will be captured to say that you can't appoint anybody who doesn't have this grade. So now it becomes a law. Nobody
should have also, well, it is 2 ways, of course. The judge, you would say the judge should have also exercise her discretion, or by let's give them next week. They don't come. Now, if they do this with state matters, sometimes the state that wasted time, detainees will be languishing in jail, and the state will waste time, and the judges will warn them, if you don't do this. I remember one delicate case that man has been discharged. I mean, if other cases have been serious, like this woman, I mean, perhaps most cases would have been concluded much earlier than.
But it's a very progressive case, and I wish this was not my intent. But for me, I wanted it to go to the logical conclusion. It would have helped us in our democracy. How because institution cannot be just a political patronage where you have government institution, but you appoint people based on political patronage just to satisfy a group of people because they have supported you during the campaign. Okay, you just go without having the qualification. We have to move beyond that bureaucracy of creating.
I think the UDP is even saying that even the very practice of going and appointing them into deputy PAM secretary was wrong. You should have also taken a process.
I heard Yankuba Davos comment in regards to that even that process too is long.
Because you're asking what is the qualification. If they are into the civil service, then the question is, did they follow? Because if you're going to the civil service, you have to apply, you have to draw, you do that. But like you pick from nowhere and then put somewhere, then they remove you and put you somewhere.
Maybe it is again to answer the same queries. Maybe they want them to have proper qualification.
It seems like that's what's happening.
Like getting to that place is problematic itself. You see, for me, you see, like what Kexx is saying, civil service is civil service. So those ones, they don't know politics, they don't know colors. They are supposed to be the machine that work for everybody.
But if you appoint politicians in the first place, that's where the problem is.
You will not be able to deliver. Next minute you start blaming the international, Russia, COVID and everything else because you put wrong people in the square pegs in square holes, not round holes.
Absolutely. So what is your reaction?
Yeah, I mean, when you look at this case, it's a missed opportunity for me, for the UDP.
Or for the country, at least.
For the UDP and the country, of course. Civil service is the biggest employer in this country. So that's why the civil service is so important. Now, why I said it's a missed opportunity. Take when this guys, when you guys went to take the parliament to court. For that loan which they wanted to take, and they saved the country lots of money. And they followed the case to the end. So now, why are political parties not able to take opportunity of this gallant opportunity? Set a precedent so that tomorrow this thing will be a thing of the past. So I feel that they started, it was good, but it could have been better.
It should have been left.
It could have even been, a landmark case. Which is the only thing that I would take away from them. But in fact, generally, there's always been this argument that when were some of these people appointed into some of these positions?
And the other thing is,
was it Some, I'm not saying all of them. Some of these people were not appointed when the UDP was was in government.
And I think what happened is that
so it's only now that they decided that they are going to fight.
It definitely has a political connotation.
But that's it should have.
Everybody knows that the law is there. That's definitely prohibit this kind of people to be appointed, but nobody ordered.
Yes.
Because they were all dining from the same table. But when they split, well, everyone look for legal loopholes, to catch the order.
And who benefits? We benefit.
Yeah,
I
I agree. There are many things that are in this country that we need the opposition to stand up for.
Yes.
That some of them are like what you guys stood up for.
So finally,
it wasn't specifically for yourself.
Finally, let's talk about the Fati case. We understand that Kexx followed this rigorously. Let's put in the background. I think there have been 2 cases against Fati in the Gambian courts. One, Mr. Cham, who accused her of reneging on a promise to marry her, even after dishing her with millions of dollars worth of money and goods. And then there's another case where her vehicles were impounded by the police, I guess, on the allegation that they were seized by the police, so to speak, because they belong to Cham and not her. We are told that the court now, in one of the cases, have ruled in her favor and asked the Inspector General of Police to give her back her cash. Kexx, you followed. Take us through what exactly happened.
Yeah, there was. The police were actually investigating when the issue of issue came up with Mr. Cham, when Cham reported the matter to the police that she was in custody of her 2 vehicles. And he used all avenues to actually get those vehicles, but he could not, and report the matter to the police. So the police started investigation, and they came up with this Yahoo Boys issues, trans-international crimes. All of them came up, and they went to the court to freeze her account so that they will do some.
419 online fraud.
Are they suggesting there's 419 who picked the coward?
No, they said after their investigation, they invited the catch some boys that are Yahoo Boys, and during interrogation with the Isa name came up according to their investigation. So they feel like Isa is working with those people. So now they start to investigate her beyond Cham's report. So they seize her vehicles. They also freeze her account. They went to the court. They told the court, we want to freeze her account for 6 months so that we'll investigate. All those things were granted. After 6 months, they came back to the court to request, and the court tell them that actually, I have given you what you cannot investigate within 6 months as a state with all your mechanism in place. I don't think you can do that. So I'm not going to grant you anymore. So they were there as I was going to report coming, and there was no progress. And sometimes when she got to court, she will be detained for a few hours before she will be released. Sometimes, her phones were seized because they wanted to have access to her phone, and she was willing to open the phone. But these people said she have to surrender the phone and the password and go. As I refused. So that was back and forth. So she also refused, and she left the phone there for 9 months. Everything there was nothing. So once she got tired, she also filed a civil suit against the Inspector General of Police for unlawful seizing her vehicles and her 2 mobile phones, and also continuous detention and trial, so harassment and other things. So it was CJ assigned Alami Jawara to hear the case. So Alami heard the case until it was set for judgment. When before that, then there was a civil suit that was actually filed by Ablai Cham now when police could not do anything against Isa, requesting the same vehicles that Isa is requesting from the IGP to hand over, and with some goals and vehicles and other things. So when that happens, then the civil case is going. So Alami delivered the judgment yesterday. So in her judgment, she made it very clear that after all her findings and the evidence that were tendered before the court from the bill of loading of the vehicles coming to the Gambia is in Isa's name. And if you look at the clearance of the vehicle at the Gambia Ports Authority was cleared by Isa, the vehicle was registered on her name. And if you want to establish ownership according to the laws of this country, you rely on the custom information and the registration information. And since all those things, and then no third party can claim the vehicle because there is no documentation to ascertain the ownership. So for that being the case, the vehicle belonged to Aisha Fati, and for that being the case, she have parts and order for the IGP to hand over the vehicles. In regards to the phone, it's already established that Isa, for 9 months you have investigated, you didn't press any charge against the person, then you have to hand over her properties. Because after 9 months state, you could not file any case to say that, okay, this is the crime after our investigation, after 9 months, and she's accused of this, and you file a case before the court, then that means that there's nothing. And you have to, because there must be an end to all this investigation, and then you cannot just leave the police, you know, to investigate your entire of your life. You cannot have your freedom. You have the right to freedom, so there must be a limitation. So it said based on those things, the girl will be actually be released. But all went further to give an order to say that the detention of her vehicle or the seizure of her vehicle was violated her fundamental right, because the police are the ones that should protect the lives and the properties of every citizen. If those people are found wanting, seizing people's properties without due process of the law, then that's a problem. So she made a declaration that that detention of the vehicle or the seizure of the vehicle too was unconstitutional, and even harassing, inviting her to the police station, sitting there for 2-3 hours are all illegal. They when they didn't follow the due process. So she made a pronunciation of all those things and told the state, you know, immediately let them hand over the vehicles and the 2 mobile phones to Isa. Yeah, but the state, when they get out, you know, the state council, I spoke to him. He said, no, definitely we are going to. I said, are you going to appeal? He said, definitely we are going to appeal against this. We are going to the court of appeal to go and appeal against this, and we'll file what we call a restricting order, you know, for the to restrict the enforcement of the order of the High Court pending the hearing of the Court of Appeal. So that means that maybe the Aisha will not actually get her vehicle if they have filed that one, because the Court of Appeal, if that is there, if you file an appeal, so they will tell you that there will be an embargo on the judgment until they hear the determination of the Court of Appeal. But also the Aisha team, LS Camara, had made it through an interview with Kerfado that they will make an application tomorrow, Monday morning, requesting for the enforcement of Alami's judgment. So we don't know what will happen at the end of the day. But this is the gist of the things. Now the matter is now the civil suit now is what is left before Justice Jaide claiming the same thing, and the same thing is in Senegal too regarding about this issue. We know that both parties have now met the panel of judges. Like in Senegal, what they will do, they will invite you off the courtroom, where they will hear, they take your statements, everybody will come and defend your case, and they will look at that whether there's a case there before they go before the entire court now. But if there's no case after they are investigating, they might not even go to court. They will tell you that after our investigation, there's nothing absolutely that warrant us to go to court. So for that, you can do whatever you want, your civil suit, but when it comes to the criminal aspect, there is nothing there that is criminal, so it's left us. So we are waiting, hopefully before the end of next week, we will know whether they will go to court or the matter will finish at that stage.
Meanwhile, Aisha is still been detained in Dakar.
Yes, yes, because Senegal normally does the process, but since her detention is moved because she was examined and she was pregnant, so now before being kept in the police custody, is under the social welfare department, like our social welfare in the Gambia here. So that's where she's kept now, rather than being in the prisons or the prison system, because of she's pregnant. So she's under the detention, because Senegal does their process. When they're investigating, they feel like you might tamper with the investigation, so you are kept at one place until they finish the investigation.
So Sait Matty and how to call it, Flex, is this matter a matter for revenge, or let's vindictiveness on one party of this shoot? Because I've seen that repeatedly. There are 2 cases in Senegal, 2 in Banjul, over the same matter.
Yeah. And it's all done by this man with the last name Cham.
Well,
this time.
That's the sad thing.
Is this how the Chams do? No, but in all seriousness.
Charles Taylor was 50 years. Okay.
In all seriousness, though, that was just obviously an inside joke. But in all seriousness, congratulations, special congratulations to Aisha Fati, because most people would have just, how could I say, like, withered away. She is under relentless assault and attack.
I just heard that she's definitely expecting a baby.
And she's now expecting. I feel like this government is not even trying to protect her or to do anything to see what is the Foreign Affairs Ministry doing?
Somebody suggested that said Gambia government should be seen to be taking interest.
They will not take interest.
I don't know whether our High Commission in Senegal is extending.
They will not take interest. Abdoulaye Cham is the same gentleman who managed to fool this government into believing that he was going to spend $100 million to put up a five-star hotel for OIC. And that project,
how do they call the hotel?
Blue, Radisson Blue, wasn't it? It was supposed to be a Radisson Blue.
Radisson Blues.
But with all seriousness, these are the people perhaps government should be vetting. We are talking about vetting here. You don't vet this guy. This guy.
Investors.
Vet your investors.
Okay, let's look at the merit and demerit of this case. He alleged that he gave a lot of money to this woman on the pretext that the woman wants to marry and the woman reneged.
I mean, you know me and this kind of cases. I do see it on the social. You know, I just say what it is. So usually I am not focused on what is behind it and all that stuff. But I'm very much interested in what Kexx was talking about in terms of the role that the police was playing. Because at some point, how can you investigate somebody for 6 months? Now you want to do that. For me, those things I am concerned about those kind of stuff, because at some point the police have to tell us what are they doing within that period. And now there's a judgment where you have all the evidence and all that stuff. So at some point it may sound or feel like the police is being used by somebody else. And for me as a citizen, I don't want my police to be used by somebody else to come after me. But I am also very proud of Aisha, in the sense, I don't know what the other stuff. But the fact that you as a citizen, if you feel like you're wrong, you go to court.
Absolutely.
And she did that, and to ensure that, and now she get that ruling. I mean, that is expected. Sometimes it's not you go out on the social media and then start crying and talk about. Sometimes you have to fight your case, and the court is there for everybody. It's there for the government, it's there for the police, it's there for everybody. If you feel that your right has been, taken from you, you have a right to seek redress, and that's the way that we need to start encouraging people. And I think with that, I'm also seeing quite a lot of that. That if the police does not follow what they're supposed to do, people take them to court. And that's the way that the police could also be corrected. Is also for government to start taking action as well. If they do some things that are not in line with what they're supposed to do or being abused, let them put that on their budget as well. They go to the National Assembly. For me, everybody must be held accountable. And the way to hold accountable institutions is also through their budgetary processes. And I think those are the things that also need to be brought into the conversation. But the other aspect, I will leave it to the rest. For me, these are the things that I have interest in.
Me though, my main concern, and this is the reality, this Cham is so highly connected. Obviously, he was having the.
Well, this is
no, it is important because let me
listen.
Let me expose these people.
Let's confine ourselves. And is this, you are right, of course, it's the same Cham who was supposed to be given a contract. We know that, that's indisputable.
Yes.
But the other things we leave.
He is very well connected. This is the reason why he is able to fight forces here in use security apparatus in the country and in Senegal. It's true.
Those are allegations we will not take it. But let's leave it. That what is before the court was that. So you were saying that they might file an appeal, and in which case it will start some time now before. Where are the vehicles themselves? They're supposed to be with the police, eh?
Yes, they are parked at the police PIU office when I was last checking them. The PIU around KMC, there is a road that goes in there, and you have the PIUs. That's where garage. That's where they were parked. My last seen them, that was almost 1 year back. When I last saw them, they were parked there actually. So whether they are still there or they are not there, that is something that we need to verify up to now. But there are also allegations that are not confirmed that the vehicles were actually taken from that place, and others even claim that they were used during the OIC summit. Those are allegations that we didn't come up. But we had all those rumors. But whether it is true or not needs to be confirmed.
Interesting. Gentlemen, we have exhausted the boring issues of the day. As far as I would say.
Lamin, when you bring me here, you have to allow me to expose these people.
No, listen. Thank you very much, Kexx Sanneh, Sait Matty, and the journalist Yusuf Taylor for being on the brunch. And thank you very much, Charles, for helping us out technically. The brunch will be back next week, inshallah. Until then, have a good weekend.
Thank you.
Islamic microfinance is becoming an increasingly popular mechanism for poverty alleviation, especially for developing countries around the world. This microfinance service adheres to the principles of Islam as a form of social responsibility. Yona Islamic Microfinance is the Islamic microfinance of choice in the Gambia, trustworthy and reliable. At Yona Islamic Microfinance, we provide savings products, current accounts, financing products in conformity with Islam. In addition, Yona Islamic Microfinance also offers local and international remittances, takaful fund, management of zakat, management of awqaf, trading and investment, and building of strategic partnerships to bring financial services to the doorstep of the poor with donor projects, madrasas, youth organizations, women groups, and farmer organizations. Make a choice with Yona Islamic Microfinance today. For more information on Yona Islamic Microfinance, call 377-2151 or 9832-151 or visit Yona head office at Tipa Garage, Bakote, or visit any Yona branch located countrywide near you.
Planning to have an uninterrupted electricity and water supply from solar energy in the Gambia and beyond? Worry no more, because Solar Enterprise will provide you with the solutions at reasonable cost. We have experienced personnel who can install and advise you about your electricity and water supply with a warranty period. We have good quality solar products from North America and Europe. We provide services and sell products to individuals, organizations, institutions, private offices, communities, and government. These products are solar panels, batteries, charge controllers, inverters, water pump, water heaters, freezers, submersible pumps, and general solar accessories. Visit our stores at 48 Kairaba Avenue and Brusubi Highway, or you can call us on 7657 479 980-8483, 340-9400 or 635-9906.
Jamano Money Transfer Bureau de Change, your go-to option when it comes to money transfer. With Jamano, you can send money from anywhere in the world to your family and loved ones in the Gambia and be sure the funds will be delivered to them within the shortest time possible. For your convenience, funds sent through Jamano Money Transfer can be picked from all the banks and multiple other financial institutions, including Ajib Bank, Trust Bank, GT Bank, Mega Bank, Basic Bank, Reliance Financial Services, and Approved Services. Visit our head office at Brusubi opposite AfricMed next to Trust Bank Limited, or email us at info@jamanomt.com. You can as well call us on 310-3050 or 310-3051 or yet still 733-0688. Our opening hours are 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. Monday to Saturday and 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. on Sunday. Jamano Money Transfer, your most trusted money transfer service where customer satisfaction is paramount. When you think of a simple, fast, and reliable money transfer, think Jamano Money Transfer.
I get it.
Mbijan aga nyaade.
Albaka.
Mbaka important.
Yo, nga transfer la sto.
Ya transfer la sto.
Ha, code nyinji.
Okay. Nsila ID soto.
Ah, that's what. Sorry. I get it.
Mbijan bro.
Albaka.
Mbaka.
Bara alla service o tariya.
Ah,
mbare ki janna nun kunu bara tariya.
Jannom yona forest de bureau. Gambia tonkon na no mbari ya bere. Birim koyna fo kato.
Bari si kodo kino kato ni fo bolong labe to.
56 branches mola sota Gambia jam.
Ha?
Gambia kono anin Gambia bantala bankol. Nko kodo kiya bere to. Kodo sifa fo falindiro fo nyaadi lafta memmen na kodi to poto nin kodi maraw. Jannam number 1 di nyonta. Andum fana nata anoda enterprise sotale. Wolam nyindi ko domorol fana kol fana be firale de dadi ma nin domorol dil fana be teat. Gambia dawda yalo ma kum fa kendol sotale je.
Wo moy o diat ha.
Apelenta
ni wo ka ni lafta nyelen kendol e bina.
Yalo bu kanina ko la baraka ba.
Yalo ndel chosano lo.
Abaraka.